These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, May 3rd, after the Boston Celtics Game 2 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. We were here in this exact same positions. It was here, Sam was there 2 days ago. Miserable.
Lawless scream.
Very upset today. We are joyful. The Celtics picked up the pace. They found a second gear. I say second gear. They found a gear because there was no gear to be found in the first game. They played a great overall game 2. They won by 34 points. It was a dominant performance on both ends of the court. The offense looked a lot better. They took a lot more threes. The defense looked a lot better. They tried a lot harder. It was just overall what you expected to see from the Celtics in game 1. It was a game late. That's all it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy what happens when this team tries, right?
They're good. They're
and
real good.
Not only that, but this makes me more annoyed about game 1 because we could be, as fans, looking at them going into Philadelphia up 2-0 after this 34-point blowout. And I could be putting $100 on insurance and probably saving myself pain. But no, it's 1-1.
Yeah.
You let Fat Harden score 45 points on you when he came dressed as the Cookie Monster.
Yep.
And tonight Harden shot 2 of 14. So
it's terrible.
Yeah. You know what would be really cool is if Jaylen Brown tried in game 1 to defend Harden. It is different how Harden has to play when Embiid's out there, though. And
partially, yeah.
You were there, Jack. What did you think of Embiid? What did you think? Did he look healthy? I mean, he didn't look anything crazy to me. He always moves kind of slow when you watch him on TV. He looked like he was running slow, though, to me.
And in my opinion, Embiid was very, very, very good on defense. I mean, he had 5 blocks in the first half. He was killing the Celtics inside, right? The Celtics got their fair share of points in the paint, whatever. They were playing well offensively, but Embiid was shutting it down, especially in the first quarter. Offensively, he didn't look as aggressive as you might want to see, but in my opinion, it's a bit hard to differentiate between Embiid's not aggressive and the Celtics playing good defense, if that makes sense, right? I think you could tell that he wasn't his full self. There was one play where he got a big block and the Sixers ran out in transition, but he kind of stayed back.
Missed a layup?
No, that was the one where Tobias Harris.
No, but he did miss a layup.
Yep, he did. But I think it was a mix of Embiid not being his full self and the Celtics also doing a really good job of forcing him to take those jumpers rather than post-up shots he normally gets versus most teams. But, you saw that in the two teams' final game of the regular season, too, when Embiid had 52. He didn't get a ton of, interior shots. It was a lot of mid-range shots, and I just don't think he had the energy to take those same shots today, which is, obviously a big part of, the knee injury. But I definitely don't think he was himself. That being said, I also think the Celtics did a good job of containing him and forcing the Sixers to go elsewhere. So healthy mix.
Yeah, he only had 9 shots, so
he wasn't
not what you're going to get from him probably in game 3. I don't know. This is weird because now, as irritating as it was for all of us, right? We were they lost this stupid game 5 to Atlanta. Now they have more time for Philly to rest. Philly doesn't get a big break in the middle of the series until game 7, if it gets that far.
It's true.
So how much time is Embiid really going to have to recover? They have to travel back to Philly. They'll probably do something tomorrow, and then they play
one
Friday.
day rest too. Yeah, 1 day rest.
I wish it was
between game. I know you do. 1 day rest between game 2 and 3. 1 day rest between game 3 and 4, and then one
even less because that'll be a day game Sunday.
True. Very true. So Embiid really doesn't have that much time to recover, and at the same time, Embiid wasn't good, obviously, but boy, and we touched on this very briefly at the start, but I want to talk longer about it. The Celtics absolutely shut down James Harden. They and I know it's going to be a lot of why didn't they do it in game 1, but
that's how that's my take is just why didn't you try 2 days ago?
The way I choose to live my life is you can't live in the past, but you can reflect on it. And so I'm not going to live in game 1.
You're talking to a guy that talks about game 4 of the finals last year, once a week.
Why do you think I brought it up?
Yeah.
I'm explaining my mentality for while I'm talking. And Sam, you can have a different one, obviously. But I'm not going to live in game one. We can reflect on it, but I'm not going to dwell on it. The Celtics tonight against James Harden. We'll need to wait for the matchup data to come out because it's just, NBA hasn't updated yet.
Too soon.
Yep, but Jaylen Brown started on him, and like from the jump, I remember tweeting it at the start of the game. He was like playing slap the ground defense, all up in his grill, getting super low, playing like tons of energy, getting on him. Even like Malcolm Brogdon, who wasn't very good defensively on James Harden. He's just not that great of a defender, especially against the top stars. Even he got like a nice block on the perimeter, like clapped it up, like big stop. And then later in the game, Marcus Smart was on him. And Derek White was on him for a couple possessions. Jayson Tatum was on him for a little bit, but without as much success because he had foul trouble, so he couldn't really do as much. But credit Jaylen Brown for taking the James Harden matchup and dominating it. Like they were picking up James Harden full court. When James Harden was off the court, they were picking up Tyrese Maxey full court. Their defensive pressure was, I would go as far as saying it was even better than what we saw from them in the playoffs last year. Like they were actively angry at the way they played in game one, which rightfully so. They said it after the game, but they took that and translated it into defensive intensity to shut down the guy who just put up 45 points on them. Like that. And that's what you needed to do in game two. So credit them for that. And Jaylen Brown led the charge. He was phenomenal on defense.
Was that the fakest 45 points we've ever seen?
I won't
also shout out Bobby behind you.
Yeah, Bobby's back there.
Bobby's what is this
unofficial guest
appearance?
Today. Yeah, he'll be an unofficial guest today, but
just like tag him in the release. No, was that the fakest 45 points? Because here's why.
I don't think it was fake.
Let me set this.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
So tonight, James Harden, in all of his weight, scored 12 points, shot 2 of 14 from the field, and 8 of those 12 came from the free throw line, which kind of were fake calls. I mean, Harden doesn't really get fouled. He just makes them blow the whistle. Okay. Now let's
one being really bad.
Circle back. Okay. We'll go back to this Brooklyn series. The first round they play Brooklyn. They sweep Brooklyn. Harden scores 23 points in game one, shoots 38% from the field, then follows that up with 8 points, 23% from the field, 21 points in game three, 8 of 15, his best game of the series. And then he closes out 17 points on 4 of 18. Okay. Game one against the Celtics, he scores 45 points. Harden scored 44 plus 25 is 69 points in the whole first round. And he scored 45 in game one. He has scored 57 points through the first 2 games of the series. Kind of nonsense, if you ask me. Especially, the best part about Harden's 45 points is even though it was a fake game because it's not something he's doing, it was maybe the most legit scoring performance he's ever had because he only shot 4 free throws.
Yeah. I will say, you can call it fake. Like, you have to credit Harden for playing that well. The reason I wouldn't call it fake is not because not because of Harden, but because realistically, he just took advantage of the Celtics' inability to define a game plan against him, right? Like they just switched up coverage a million times. What do you mean?
The switching was bad. Correct.
No. The switching.
Correct.
What I know
he took advantage of the switching.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant, well, yes, but that's not what I meant to say. I know, but that's not what I meant to say. Okay. I agree with that. But what I meant to say was the Celtics switched up their defensive game plan so many times that Harden was able to just take advantage of like the inconsistent defense that they threw at him tonight. And I think Keith Smith pointed this out. Tonight, the Celtics refused to switch. They kept whoever they wanted on Harden with them at all times, whether that be Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, fighting over screens. Like they wouldn't let him get a switch like to where he could take advantage of it. And that's what worked for them. They identified what worked early and they kept doing it for the whole game. And I think that's what shut Harden down. So I don't think it's fake in the sense that all he had to do was take advantage of Boston's inability to like define a game plan. But I understand what you mean fake in the sense that like he struggled for so long and then he just popped off for this. But I do think the majority of the blame has to go on the Celtics defense.
He only had 9 2-point makes in the whole first round. He had 10 in game one.
Again, the Celtics just didn't defend him well.
This stuff is stupid. And it is on the Celtics. They were bad. They didn't play defense. Again, played defense today, allowed 87 points, lowest total of the season. wild what happens when you defend. You know what the
that
best
the
part about
lowest total
today
of
is
the
if
season?
you subbed in
Wait,
the
that's the
115
fewest-
points they scored in game 1.
Wait, that's the fewest points they've allowed in a game this season?
That's what they're saying on the broadcast, yeah.
Let me take a look. I
First
believe
was
you, but I wanna-
92.
Yeah, box scores. Let me take a look.
I think that's the truth.
That'd be kind of crazy if that's the truth.
Another fact, if you
let me
switch their scoring totals, then they're 2-0 in this series.
Also true. Also, so what you're saying is what they needed to do in game 1 was score more points. Is that the
No, it means they had to play defense because they
What is
scored
that?
plenty of points, and if they just
I
defended,
know,
they
I
would have
know, I
won.
know. Well, if you switch to the points, then they would have scored more points in game 1.
It
if
is
defense
true.
was the-
The
I'm
best
just
part is Tatum only had 7 points, or 7 points.
and we can talk about that, but I want to keep talking about the Celtics defense first, and I'm apologies for me stumbling over my words, but I'm simultaneously trying to keep timestamps to keep Landon happy, Legend Landon, and I can't do it as easily because I'm in one laptop instead of 2 monitors today. But the box score thing, the Celtics' best defensive performance in the regular season was still tallied for the playoffs. This is a disaster. I need my second monitor. This sucks. No. Oh my god. I'm a mess. All right.
I'm just letting you sit.
Yeah, Sam's leaving me out to dry here. No,
Well,
not
I was
your
trying
fault.
to
My own fault.
filibuster.
No,
You weren't ready.
my own fault.
Then
My
you
own
started
fault.
arguing
My own
with
fault.
me.
I know, my own fault. I can't. Yeah, I can't find the stat because I'm on one laptop instead of 2 monitors. This is a disaster. I'll just say I believe you, but the point is, the Celtics
That's what they said on
defense-
the broadcast. They said
I believe
92 was.
That's
They
fine.
were
That's fine.
also they were very excited when Philly was playing well, and then when the Celtics
I
started
heard
winning,
this.
they didn't care anymore.
I heard this.
Little
this.
strange. I don't know why.
Oh man, sorry. The listeners just got a minute straight of me fumbling over my words.
Just edit it out. Take it out.
I'm not editing it. We're leaving it in. That's too much work, and people will laugh
enough.
at me anyways. That's fine. Anyways, we can't talk about Jayson Tatum too because he was not great. I mean, just to put it simply,
Or
Jayson
maybe
Tatum
he was the
did not
best
have a
he's
good night.
been
Well,
because they won by 36 points.
You
or
say
34
that
points.
you say that ironically and like to poke fun at Tatum. I will say though, I do think it takes a level of maturity to be okay with just not being your night. And that's not really something you've seen in the past
He
with
was in
Tatum.
foul trouble, like, and then they blew him out.
I know, but like
Like
a
the
lot of
stars
times,
aligned for him not to be involved.
I agree, but like in general, like in the past, you've seen a lot of Tatum forcing up shots just because he wants to get himself into a rhythm. Especially like 2 years ago, you'd see that a lot. Like people would have it going, but
Or
Tatum was like,
perhaps
"No, I need to get my
game
rhythm going."
5, where he shoots
Sure,
a bunch
exactly.
of threes.
Exactly, another relevant example. But to be comfortable only taking 7 shots, like foul trouble, whatever, like 7 shots is. I'm not going to go checking for stats again because that was a disaster. But like, probably was the least he's taken all season. I would have to assume. But like he was okay with it, right? You didn't really see him like in a huff, and obviously no person's gonna be upset when their team wins by 30 something points. But like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a absolute superstar in the NBA. He took 7 shots in a game, and he didn't really care. The least he took all regular season was 12, and he took 7 in game 2, and he was just
Fine with it.
chilling. He played
You know what the
okay
best
on
part
defense.
is?
Obviously, the foul trouble wasn't great, but like I will say also, I don't know how many assists he finished with.
3.
I would have to go find it. 3 assists, but like he did a good job of like driving and creating opportunities for the rest of the team. So I mean, he made an impact in other ways, and I mean, it wasn't a good Tatum game, but I don't think it was like the end all be all of Tatum games.
Yeah, he only shot 3 threes. Fantastic.
I knew that's
One
what
of
you were
them
gonna
was a
say.
step back, though. I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah,
But he was team high plus 24. So there you go.
Because he was just like
Fine.
doing whatever it took.
Fine with
Exactly,
me.
exactly. That's what
I don't think he cares. As long as they win, and like to what you said, it's great that he's just kind of about the team.
Exactly.
I will say, as much as I like to crap on Tatum, I really don't think he is a diva, wants all the praise,
not.
blah, blah, blah. He really just seems to care about winning, which is good. So I'm fine. Fine with it. Fine with 1 of 7. Don't care. And that's more fuel to your confidence. Like, wow, Tatum had 7 points and they still won by 1 million. Sure, it helps when Brogdon scores 23 and Grant plays well off the bench. Good for Grant. I
I'll
knew
bring
you
it
were
up
happy
too.
about that. Something we talked
And
about
I,
in the pregame a little bit was Grant.
exactly.
And why isn't this guy playing when they're getting cooked in switches? And he's a little bit more mobile than Horford is. And he made half his threes. So that's really all you need from Grant. 4 assists too. Sneaky, and 4 rebounds. 29 minutes for the man.
Grant Williams was awesome. And I tweeted it out. Like, I tweeted at a friend of the pod, Banner Banter, who notably does not like Grant Williams. Why wasn't he playing the entire playoffs? Like his DNP in game 1 against the Hawks made no sense. Whatever, they won, doesn't matter. He played great in game 3. Phenomenal. 4 from 3, solid defense. Then just no shows the rest of the postseason since then. And he played again good in their game 6 win, if I'm correct. I think he closed out the game. Big game there. Then doesn't play in game 1. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if he plays, they win the game, because that's just not true. They just weren't. They
Maybe.
were bad.
No, I mean, it was a 1-possession game. Maybe.
True. But like, he comes out in game 2, kills it again. Like great defense against Joel Embiid. He was in the highlight reel of
really
maybe
pushed him hard.
I was gonna say the best flop I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, that was all timer right there. Shout out the MVP. And then he nails all his threes. What do you finish with? Let me take a look here. Grant Williams finished the game with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 4 of 8 from the field, all 3-pointers, a plus 22, third best on the team behind Jayson Tatum and Derek White. Like, you can't ask for much more from him. He was amazing. Like you said, he played 29 minutes. What was that on the team? He played the
fifth.
1, 2, third most minutes on the team.
Oh, yeah, third.
Jaylen Brown played 30 minutes. Derek White played 29:53. I think Grant Williams at 28:57. And a part of that is he stayed a little bit longer in garbage time. So, like, he had extra boost. But, like, he was amazing in his minutes. He deserves a ton of credit. And I'll say it now. He should not get another DMP for the rest of the playoffs. It just cannot happen. He is that good. He is the third best player off their bench behind Brogdon and Robert Williams, both of which had good games, which we can talk about. And like, Hauser's fine, and you can get Hauser in there for some spark plugs, but it is very clear that Grant is 8, Hauser is 9, and it cannot change. He's too important. It's just the fact. As Sam is a zombie.
Well, I don't know why it's doing this all of a sudden.
If you're
this
on
happened
YouTube,
during the
you can
pregame.
see,
My monitors both just were like, "Yeah, we need a break."
Very funny, very funny. But no, I mean, back on track. Grant Williams. I mean, I'm just gonna lob it to you because I want you to talk good about Grant too, because I'm obviously a Grant lover, so I need some unbiased perspective here.
No, I thought Grant was really great. Seriously. I was very happy that he was able to play defense, number one. If he's going to be out there, it's very important that he makes his threes, which he did. So another thumbs up to Grant. His ability to, and he has been throughout the playoffs, like you said. Yes. He's been great. He really has been. It is kind of weird that he hasn't played in some of these games. I think there was more reason for it in the Hawks series than this one, just because the Hawks technically weren't as big, at least in terms of generically what they're going to do with their offense. They're not running offense through Capella. They're running it through Trae Young. So I get why you might not want him out there as much.
I still don't get it.
But in this series,
I understand it, but I disagree.
And in the hypothetical series that will not happen against Milwaukee, he was destined to get minutes. We always knew this, and whatever Missoula's reason was, did anyone ask him that?
Yeah, well, I think someone touched on it. Like,
not that he would answer you. He'd probably just be like, "Go screw. I decided I wanted to play him today." But
he said something along the lines of like, "It's just a matchup thing. We like it, like being smaller or something like that."
Yeah, but he's better for switching right now than Horford is. Better making threes than Horford.
And then, I mean, you look down the bench. You touched on it briefly. Malcolm Brogdon was amazing. I mean, you talk about one of the best 3-point shooters in the league this season. He came in that third quarter was Jaylen Brown drives, get it to Malcolm Brogdon for a 3. Derek White drives, get it to Malcolm Brogdon for a 3. You know, Marcus Smart drive, get it to Malcolm Brogdon. Like he was, I think he was 6 for 10 from 3 on the night. 23 points off the bench. 7 of 15 from the field. That means he shot 1 of 5 from 2. Not great, but that's been the story of his season, kind of. He was an absolute sniper for the Celtics. Like, he just made his threes. And Joe Mazzulla touched on it briefly. And the Celtics had more threes, midway through the third quarter than they did all of last game, right? And it's as much as you don't want to put the emphasis on that, because I know you're not a big take a million threes guy, but like it was less about the number of threes and more about how they were getting the threes. The offense was better, and Malcolm Brogdon was like the recipient of that good offense.
It's true. And I was going to tie this into they did a much better job, Brogdon in particular. Brogdon made a lot of timely threes. Brogdon made some threes in that first half. When they were kind of teetering, is Philly going to stay in this game? Is Philly not going to stay in this game? Are they going to tie it up at any point? Are they going to blow this 12-point lead that they opened up in the second quarter? So Brogdon makes his threes. Derek White makes some big threes, too, in the second half.
They're starting real slow.
Yeah, and he was off, but he's kind of back, too, which is really important for the Celtics going forward. As a whole, the team somewhat showed up in clutch. You might say, Sam, that's really weird. They won by 30. What clutch was there? Well, in the first half, and Sean Grady in the third quarter, Sean Grady tweeted this. Okay, game 1, Celtics up 12 with like 3.5 to go in the half. Go into the half up 3. Today, up 12 with 4.5 to go. Go into the half up 10. Or 8. 8, sorry. Much better than 3. Not to mention, that was a more realistic lead. When you're up 3 going into the half like you were on Monday and you're shooting 1,000,000%, red flags, alarms are going off, sound all of it. It's bad. They did the things that they could control today. They played hard. First couple minutes of the game, Smart dives over Al Horford into PJ Tucker, steals a loose ball.
PJ Tucker's ankle got like messed up too.
PJ Tucker is also out there just to try and hurt people.
Yeah, are you talking about when he
being sarcastic? Like he literally is just out
who
there
did he
to try
hit?
And hurt people.
Who did he hit on that play that I'm thinking of? That I'm thinking of.
Jaylen Brown. He literally took a swing at Jaylen Brown on a pick.
He was setting a screen. It didn't work the first time, so the second time he just took his arm and smacked Jaylen Brown. It's like, what?
PJ Tucker might not be an NBA player. He's just out there to try and hurt people. Game 1, he hits Tatum. Game 2, he's taking shots at people. Game 3, who knows? He's like Draymond without championships. Or does he have one with Milwaukee?
PJ Tucker has one with Milwaukee, yeah.
Okay.
And as much as you don't like him now, like he deserved it with Milwaukee. He was awesome for them that playoff run.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's been awesome against the Celtics. He was awesome with Miami last year. One of the reasons Tatum struggled in that series. One of the reasons the series went 7 games.
But that swing on Jaylen Brown was definitely like eye open. Like, excuse me, what are we doing here? But
it's weird. He literally is out there just to hurt people. But back to
controlling the controls.
Yeah, Celtics play defense. You said it. Jaylen Brown was engaged from the tip today. That's huge. That is so important. And it's such a simple thing. If that's the difference between you winning by 34 points and you losing a heartbreaker, my God, just try. That's why this team is so concerning, is because any given day, regardless of what the spot is, regardless of how important the game is, they could just go out there and not try. And we're all left here just like, what did we just watch? Why does this team not want to win? You're 1-1 now. You're going to Philly. This team actually, as a core, plays better on the road in the playoffs, which is weird.
Yeah.
This year, they won, what, 2 of the 3 in Atlanta last year. They beat Miami 3 times, won at Golden State once, beat Milwaukee twice in Milwaukee.
I mean, the Celtics on the road this year
won both the games at Brooklyn.
They were 25-16 on the road this season. Like, that's real good on the road.
Yeah. You know what the biggest concern for me is with this team? And looking at the remaining teams, it's less concerning. I truly think their biggest weakness is a scoring guard. Scoring guy that's going to dominate the ball.
What do you mean?
Because, okay, take Trae Young, right? Trae Young plays my career. He sits on the ball, he uses screens, and he either scores or gets an assist. His usage rate is very high.
Okay.
Game 1, James Harden scores 44 or 45 points. James Harden is the primary ball handler for Philadelphia, and he's coming off a bunch of screens and getting switches. When the other team's best player is not a dominant guard, i.e. Embiid, the defense doesn't break down as easily. It's true.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. However,
and this is not just a tonight thing.
no, I know what you're saying.
Even that game that they lost in Philly this year, what was the final? It was like 100 to something, right?
It was 103 to 101, I think. I think they lost by 2 points.
It was not a high-scoring game.
No.
The defense to me is so important to their success. If they're making threes, it's great. They did a good job moving the ball today. Congratulations to the Celtics. Excellent ball movement. The offense looked fluid. The offense of game 1 was still good. They didn't take a lot of threes, but they still were super efficient.
I think the efficiency's fake. You talk about the Celtics being fake. I think the efficiency's fake, in my opinion. That's just how I see
Efficiency's not
the
fake.
offense.
If you're making 60% of your shots, you should win.
The efficiency's fake because I don't think they played offense the right way. They were efficient, but they just did. Their offensive game plan was just wrong, and it allowed the Sixers to get better shots. And because if you're sluggish on offense and you're waiting until the last second to make to take a shot, you're risking a
Well, they
turnover.
didn't do that
When
the
you saw
whole
with
game.
Malcolm Brogdon. I know, but after they got the lead, it was after they went up 12 points in the second quarter, and in the entire second half, they played a sluggish offense. They either played sluggish or so fast that they turned the ball over. Like they just had no offensive flow. And so I think the efficiency was fine, but I don't think it reflects how they played offense. I mean, that's just my opinion.
turnovers
I've
were
been
bad.
talking about it. The turnovers are bad too,
Which is
and
a
I think that
focus
was
thing.
yeah. I think it was a result of their bad offense. A lot of the turnovers were they're playing slow on offense. They're not passing the ball enough. They're playing around the perimeter, and then they either turn the ball over and throw it to the wrong person because they're scrambling, or they're running in transition and frantically just giving the ball up because no one's running and they're not connected, or they're getting to the hoop in desperation and then they just get stripped or blocked or something. Like, I just don't think there was any offensive flow in the second half of game 1, and I think that was a big reason why they weren't, it bled over to defense, and that's also a problem in and of itself. Like, they can't let their offensive play affect their defense, but I just don't think the offense was good. That's why I'm saying the efficiency is fake. Like, obviously numbers don't lie in the sense that like they did shoot that from the field, but I just don't think the offense was good, and that's why I say fake.
Yeah, I mean, you slap in good defense, they win.
But if you shoot a couple more threes and take the right threes, they also win. I agree with you that the defense is wrong. I'm just saying I don't think the offense was
The
necessarily
defense
good in
is
game
like a
1.
concrete, independent variable. The threes are dependent on if the threes go in. It's true.
Yes, but I'm not talking about.
You can control defense. You can literally control if you go out there and try.
You can control offense too, though.
You can't always guarantee the shots are going to go.
You can't always guarantee they're going in, but you can guarantee if you take the right shots. And I don't think they took the right shots. Is my point.
I mean, they got a million layups in the first half, and they still weren't winning.
Yeah, and then they
even if you take out the second half, because you're absolutely right, bad, sluggish, especially down the stretch, they were just panicking, didn't know what to do.
I'm not disagreeing with you that the defense was bad. The defense was obviously bad.
The defense was the number one problem.
Sure,
that is my point.
Sure, I can agree with that. I'm just saying, don't sit there and say like the offense was good because of the efficiency, because I just don't think that's true. I think the offense was also bad just because they shot well.
If you told me that they could shoot, all right, now I'm gonna have to go back and look.
They shot like 50.
If you told me that the Celtics could shoot 58% from the field, really 59, I would take it every single day.
Okay, it was still bad offense. I still think it was bad offense. I don't care what the efficiency says.
They scored 115 points. It's a lot of points.
Bad offense. I'm telling you what I saw. I'm telling you how they played. I know they scored that many points. I know they were efficient. I don't think it was good offense, at least for the second half. And I can agree with you. The defense was the main problem. I'll say, like, absolutely. If they play better defense, they win the game. But I'm not going to sit here and say the offense in game 1 was good, because it wasn't. And you see what happens when the offense is good in game 2. And in turn with that, they don't turn the ball over as much. They get better threes. They get better offensive looks. The defense is better because they're energized. They get a bucket. They're hyped up. They slap the floor. They play great defense. Like, I really think it's all connected. And again, I agree with you. Defense was the main problem in game one. It was they get 2 more stops, they win the game. I'm just not going to sit here and say like I think the game one offense was good.
If they're going to compete for a title, they have to play defense.
Agree.
This is
Defense
not
wins
this is
championships.
not going against what you're saying.
Yeah.
But going forward, and they did it today, Philly struggled. You need to play good defense if you want to compete for a championship. You need to be at the point, and they still didn't. They had moments that were clutch moments. They were big swings in the game that they did show up for tonight. So that's encouraging. But we still really haven't seen them win a clutch game. They won game 6 against the Hawks. They melted in game 1 against Philly.
Yeah.
As you go on, it's only, I mean, maybe not in the East. Maybe it doesn't get harder than Philly. I don't know. But if you play probably any of those teams from the West,
I think Miami or New York would be harder to Philly. Maybe that's a hot take.
you said who?
But I think so. Anybody who comes out of the other side of the East, I think, is a harder matchup than Philly
Maybe.
for the Celtics.
I don't know. Philly's just weird. Philly is good against other teams, but when they play the Celtics, they just aren't a real dominant force. With Embiid, they're not. They're not. I don't know if it's because the Celtics are well equipped. They have good strategy, personnel, all of the above. I don't know. But he, throughout his career, has not had success against his team. It's true. It's a fact.
In my opinion, I think, I think John Corrales asked Joe Mazzulla this post game. He was like, "Do you think Al Horford was more effective on defense because he's so comfortable guarding in the post, and when Embiid is playing, like, essentially, like, do you think the defense was better because Embiid was there, even though he's the MVP?" Which, in part, like, probably, yeah, because Celtics are more comfortable having Horford in the post and helping, et cetera, and not having to switch constantly in the perimeter. I think that's part of why you saw him struggle in Atlanta, because they switched too much on Trae Young. But I think, in my opinion, and I said this briefly, I think Miami or New York would be harder for the Celtics than Philly. Despite game 1, I don't think game 1 was as much to do with Philly as it was to do with the Celtics. And the reason behind that is you look at Miami and their constant hustle and attack is so much better than Philly's. If Jimmy Butler's healthy, I'm saying that obviously this is qualifying that Jimmy Butler's healthy. If Jimmy's healthy, I think he is more scary than Joel Embiid, if that makes sense, as like a primary scorer on an opponent.
He's taking over a game.
Exactly. Embiid's better overall, obviously, but like in a playoff setting, like probably take Jimmy. And that's
He's a
not
creator.
A knock on
He's
Embiid.
not
exactly
working out of the post. He's not just standing there waiting for them to reach so he can sweep through.
That combined with Bam's defense, obviously not great on offense, but he's been great on defense this postseason. You have Miami's red hot from 3. Duncan Robinson remembered how to play. Gabe Vincent's been awesome. Kyle Lowry's making the shots. Max Strus is shooting well. Caleb, like, red hot from 3.
It's all the equation for my blood pressure to go up.
Add in Spo being probably the best coach in the NBA and their scrappy defense. I think they're more difficult. And then the biggest thing with New York, as much as I know you don't like Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson's clutch.
Good. Yes,
Jalen Brunson's clutch, and Mitchell Robinson on the offensive glass, I think, would mimic what Capella did to the Celtics in round 1. So that's why I think both of those would be harder than Philly.
I've been watching all those games, so I know ball.
There you go.
Also, Hardenstein is a dog.
Exactly, on the offensive.
And you were in on Hardenstein a long time ago, by the way.
I really like Hardenstein. He's real good. He was
with, I think, the Clippers, and you were like, the Celtics should bring this guy in for like a 10-day or whatever. And I was like, shut up.
He plays with good energy. But yeah, I think either of those would be more difficult. I think the Nuggets look real hot right now. They're real good. I think what you said, and I think you doubled back on it a little, because like Philly's pretty good. I truly do think it just gets harder from here for the Celtics, so they really do have to lock in and focus from here on out.
It shouldn't get harder though.
I
don't know. I think
not harder in the sense that they shouldn't be able to win. Harder in the sense that I think the matchups would.
Every team still has a scary piece to them. I think Spoelstra is extremely scary because
he's good.
I mean, Joe's never really coached in the playoffs before, so having him go against Spoelstra is a huge mismatch.
Yeah.
I don't really know how scary the Knicks are. I think Brunson's a dog. And we obviously saw them come back on Miami yesterday in a game that, are the Knicks that scary then? Because Miami was out without Jimmy Butler and they were winning for the majority of that game. And it took Bam to lose Beijing Bam to run through Hartenstein on a
I
Brunson
mean,
three.
we're talking
Missed
about
24-second violation
we're
for them
talking
to
about a
win.
Celtics team that lost
It's
with
true.
no Embiid. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I
I
mean, they
think it's
still
all
lost to
perspective.
Harden. There's literally
No, I
there's
know.
like nobody on that Heat team. Caleb Martin and
You
Gabe
say
Vincent
that.
were the ones carrying them.
I just think they're a better. This isn't
They are
gonna
a
make
great
sense.
unit. They play together as a
That's what I'm gonna
team.
say.
They play
I
good
think
team
they're a better
ball, and
unit than the
Spoelstra has them
Sixers.
playing good ball. But
Yeah.
I mean, my man, if you gotta have some sort of answer for Caleb Martin.
I'm not saying that the Knicks or the Heat would be a better team than Philly. I think they would present a harder matchup for the Celtics because
I
of how
think
the
that
Celtics
Mitchell
play.
Robinson piece is the scariest part of the Knicks. So if I
Mhm.
had to like power rank my scary pieces, is Spoelstra, Hartenstein / Robinson, and then just the rest. And plus Randall like makes the Knicks like a teddy bear because
And
he
then Philly at
sucks.
the bottom. Oh my god, Randall doesn't suck.
He does
We know
suck. He sucked yesterday. In the second half, he was completely uninvolved in the scoring when they were playing well.
we don't have to get
Brunson
into
was
the
the guy
talking
carrying
about
them.
this.
He's a good player. Brunson is excellent.
Brunson's good. Brunson's good. Barrett's been having a
Brunson, by
solid
the
playoff
way, who
game.
looks like he's 5'9", but he's actually 6'2".
I will also say something scary about the Knicks, and this isn't like a real thing. This is like a Celtics thing. Emmanuel Quickly's been terrible in the playoffs so far. He just hasn't found a rhythm, and you
He's
just
due
know
for a fake big game.
if they get the Celtics, Quickly's gonna average 30.
I hate
Like,
that
you just
guy.
know.
I hate that guy with every ounce of my being. I hate
I
that
know
he's
you do.
dancing on the garden floor. I hate that they were all crying that he didn't win Sixth Man of the Year. When at the end of the day, really, who cares? Like,
Mhm.
whoop-de-doo. Stupid
Yeah.
award. Just like the MVP talk, I really didn't care for either. And that's a real award.
Do you want
But
to talk about that since it happened?
no. I
Just-
mean, cool, man. He won the
I'm
MVP.
just messing with you. Yeah, good for him. Good for Joel. But
Even
no,
though my
yeah,
argument, like Giannis is the only one that's securing the playoffs, is not there anymore because they're watching at home. But it would have been great if he won it. Him
yeah,
and
that'd be funny.
Thanasis could celebrate.
That'd be real funny. But no, yeah, I do think Philly's the best team left in the East outside of Boston, but I just don't. I think they're the easiest matchup, if that makes sense. And it's very backwards, but that's just the way that I rationalize it.
I don't know. I'm heated that this next game 3 of Miami, New York is until Saturday.
What game is tomorrow? Oh, Lakers Warriors. At
Just
least
the
that's fun.
Warriors game. Yeah.
What do you think? Do we want to talk any more Celtics, or do you want to talk about
We
the rest
can
of
we
the
can
game?
move on. I mean, really, my main take is Celtics need to play defense, and the Celtics might be okay going forward just because they're not, unless they play New York, going to have to, or the Warriors, going to have to play a ball dominant guard that's going to take advantage of mismatches.
About that too. And we don't have to dive deep into this. This is just my thought because I never really responded to that. We just moved on. I think the key for that is, and I agree with the sense that like, oh, they don't really have the ball dominant guard. I think it has to be Tatum. And in order for him to be that, he just needs to be making his shots and find a rhythm. Because I do think he can do that. He just hasn't really he struggled so much in the latter half of the season that we
literally
forgot
never
about
done it. Actually,
I think he stepped up in the playoffs last year. You look at Game 6 against Milwaukee.
Game 6 Milwaukee. That's like the only time I remember off the top of my head like he was clutch.
He has done it. I just think it's about him doing it more consistently, and that's a problem in and of itself. But anyways, that's what I was thinking. And then yeah. Okay, so
I mean, I hope we don't see another clutch game in this series, to be honest with you.
There you go. Me neither. And I said it after Game 1. I said I still think it ends in 5 or 6, and I'm sticking with that. But
I'd love if it ended in 5.
Looking around the league very quickly here, Lakers take down the Warriors in Game 1.
I did not get to watch a lick of that, so I'm going to be limited.
It was a good game. Jared Vanderbilt and Dennis Schroeder combined to really slow down Steph Curry. I'm pretty sure the number was Curry shot 2 of 10 when guarded by Vanderbilt, so credit him.
Vanderbilt, who they got for free.
Yep. Yep. Kevon Looney.
They were just like, here, have him.
Kevon Looney grabbed a bunch of boards, but Anthony Davis was absolutely dominant. He finished with, I think, 30 points, 23 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Completely shut down the paint for the Warriors. Carried the Lakers on offense. It was really a matter of Lakers dominating the paint and the free throw line, Warriors dominating threes, took over 50, and then the Lakers defense just kind of propelled them over. So, I mean, credit them. I still think Warriors in 7, but we'll see.
I'd love the Warriors to win.
Looking at Knicks Heat, we talked about it briefly, so we don't have to go too deep into
hold on. You know what the best was Poole just throwing up that shot at the end.
How could I skip over that? Do you think that's a good shot?
No. Mainly because there was a lot of time left.
I think Curry
He
has
was
to touch the
really
ball.
far away, and he's not Dame Lillard.
He was wide open. He was hot. He can make that shot.
He was
6 of
hot.
10.
That is true.
However, if Steph Curry is on the court, I was saying this to Bobby Kravitsky before the Celtics game tonight. My thing is, if you if you ask anybody around the NBA, you're down 3 points, 10 seconds left, who do you want taking the shot? They'll tell you Steph Curry. You have that guy on your team, and you don't get him the ball. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Well, not for nothing. There was 10 seconds left when he heaved that.
Exactly. They had
Wiggins
time.
was open under the basket. I mean, you could still quick 2 in a foul.
You saw
There's
Clay
still
pointing to
time.
Wiggins. They wanted
What'd
him
you
to
say?
pass it to Wiggins.
They
Clay
did.
was in the corner, like pointing to Wiggs. Yeah,
Yeah, he was like, "It's my time."
it was Jordan Poole.
You
It's Jordan Poole
can't
time,
even
quote.
justify like, wow, he's under the basket, so I can shoot this, because he's so far away that the rebound is just going to bounce to Guam.
It was deep. It was deep. And do you see Tyrese Halliburton clip on Twitter?
Yeah, he was like, "That was a good shot," and they were all like, "Well, that's why you're sitting next to us."
Shading Fry goes, that's why you're sitting next to us. I don't think it was a terrible shot. I think it was like one of those things where Joe Mazzulla was like, it was a good shot, but you can work for a great shot. And especially in that situation, you need to work for a great shot.
Agree. They had plenty of
see
time to
those stuff.
work for a better shot. They could have earned a better shot. They even could have took the 2, like I said, and played the
Agree.
foul game, which I sneaky like better than. I don't know how many timeouts they had left, so I don't know.
Agree. Knicks Heat briefly.
Knicks Heat.
Big wing. Shout
Watch
out.
this whole game.
Knicks was a big win for them. They came up clutch, but like, give the Heat a ton of credit. Like, no Jimmy, they were right there. I really thought they were going to win. When Julius Randle stepped on the out of bounds line, passing the ball.
I was hoping with every ounce of my being that they lost the game, so I could just unload on Twitter.
And then Duncan Robinson nailed the 3. I really thought the Heat were going to win, but credit the Knicks. I mean, credit Isaiah Hartenstein, dog. Like you said,
He won them that game. He kept the possession 3 or 4 times, and then they got a 3 out of it, I think.
Shout out Josh Hart for making a couple threes too. He was big.
And then he just jumped over somebody at the end, and they didn't call the foul on an
Josh
offensive
Hart?
rebound. Yeah, like he had an open 3, missed it, and then crashed, followed his shot.
I did see this.
But he like murdered somebody, and they called the foul on the guy he jumped over.
I don't remember that part, but I believe you. But shout out Josh Hart. He made big threes. Isaiah Hartenstein was an absolute beast on the glass. Obviously, give him a ton of credit too. Obviously, I mean, you can't talk about the Knicks and not talk about Jalen Brunson. Like, he was awesome too, so he gets the credit. I know Sam talked about Julius Randle not being great, but like they need him. He's important. Like
he was nothing in the second half. He was nothing.
Sure, but if they want to win the series, they do need him. As much as you don't like him, like, he's an all-star, and we don't have to talk about Julius Randle. But credit the Knicks for coming up with a win, but even more credit to the Heat. Like, who do you have winning that series? I still think Knicks in 7, but
I honestly don't know. I think Miami's in good position to win it.
It's a good series.
I think you saw yesterday, Julius Randle, by the way, in the second half, 7 points, 2 of 6, and 2 turnovers. So there's that. Miami's in really good position. Obviously, the Kaseya, whatever the hell it is, center now, that they just keep changing the name, isn't a fortress or anything. But they have mad days off between games. Game 2 was yesterday on Wednesday. They're at home on Saturday.
They are 27-14
more likely to not be back.
They're a real good home team.
And he's a dog. And mind you, they almost beat these guys with the fellas out there.
Yes.
Literally, like the closest you ever will get in the NBA to the fellas playing in the playoffs.
At the same time, though, like, I know James Harden was on the team, but the Celtics lost to James Harden and the fellas, and then they beat
James Harden's won an MVP.
My point is, like,
they lost to Caleb, or they almost lost to Caleb Martin.
My point is, as much as that is true, I think like there's a lot of variance in the playoffs, so I don't necessarily think like, oh, they almost lost to without Jimmy Butler. That means they're going to get killed by Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it doesn't mean they're going to get killed, but it means that these guys surrounding Jimmy Butler, one, Jimmy Butler is not a ball stick guy, meaning when he's out there, the ball still moves. He's able to ISO and create his own shot and get inside, but he's not just like sitting there like posting up, just requiring the ball like
unless he needs to,
unless he absolutely has to, right?
Yeah,
these guys had a good chance to get some confidence, to get some shots under him. So I'm interested to see. I think the ball's in their court now. Really, Miami's going to lose this series if Miami beats themselves. It feels like. I
All right.
think the Knicks got a really great performance from Jalen Brunson in the second half, and that is something to keep an eye on because he was a no-show in the first half. But maybe he's found his footing against this Miami defense now. Maybe he figured it out in the second half. I don't know.
Mhm.
If you're in New York and you're relying on Randall, good luck.
Last series before I get out of here and catch the tea, and we can
Yeah,
do
you need to
Ratless
go.
very quickly, but I do have to leave quick. I'll ask you this, and we can talk about it quickly. Do the Nuggets sweep the Suns? Chris Paul is out now. The Nuggets have looked great. I think it's a
Phoenix
5-game
has no
series.
depth.
I think it's 5, but like the Nuggets are looking strong right now.
I literally don't care about that series. I haven't watched it. It's on the West Coast. Both franchises kind of bore me.
I think Denver.
I
comes out
like
as well.
Durant, but I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
care. I thought the
think-
Suns Clippers was boring too.
Sure, I think Nuggets in 5 for what it's worth, but we'll see.
I can't speak on it. I have not watched it.
Would you like to do a very quick rat list?
Okay. Yeah. PJ Tucker rat list. He's just out there trying to hurt people. It's literally all he's doing. Any more rat list off the top of my head?
I have one quick.
Celtics rat list because they lost game 1.
You're still on the rat list 2 days later. We didn't get a chance to do it before, I guess, so that's fine. But rat list, guy on the train smoking on the train. Rat list.
Weird.
What are we doing? Can we, what like why? What are we doing? Rat list. Red line. Disaster. Rat list. Red line for bringing in the new trains, which looks super cool, but still going 10 miles an hour. Like why? What are we doing? Like get over yourself. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got. I will say before we go, and it's not rat list. If you want a look in at the mentality, Celtics won by 34 points today. Joe Mazzulla, Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon all did post game in the main media room. Not one of them smiled for a single second. There was no.
These post games mean nothing.
They were dead. My point is.
I said it last game. I don't care about the post games anymore.
My point is, they were still angry after
Good.
game 2. So like that's what I'm saying. It's a good.
Dude, just
I
on the whole
really
flight to
think
Philly,
watch
just
it.
watch game 1.
Agree.
Just make them look at a picture of Harden walking in that stupid outfit.
Agree. All right. I think that's about it.
Ratless Harden. I hate the way he plays basketball.
Valid. There we go. That's just why I put Trae Young in the Ratless. You can respect them for dropping their points, but you don't have to like the way they play. And I will double down on the PJ Tucker Ratless, by the way.
Yeah, he's an
I agree with
asshole. Fuck that guy.
Our rat list. I forget who it was. Whoever was like playing hard and like fouling in the final 30 seconds of game 2. Stop. Let's just stop.
I didn't see that.
What are we doing? It wasn't anything egregious, but like, why are we trying that hard? Let's chill. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We've gained a lot of subs, and I think the playoffs are giving us a real push. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you like us, leave a rating on Spotify and Apple. Leave a review on Apple too, 5 stars. And if you're not going to leave 5 stars, go be mean to us in the YouTube comments, because that's what I always say. Like, we always like more YouTube comments, even if they're mean. So subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll let Sam wrap us up.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you are on YouTube.
Oh, and no pregame for game 3. Apologies in
No
advance.
pregame at all for game
unless
3.
I don't think so, unless Tim can do it and I find a place to do it at the place. But like, likely no pregame, no halftime, and probably
Should we
no pod
record
the day
something
after.
and
We'll
run it
figure-
a half hour before?
We'll talk about something, but just be.
I mean,
be
we could do it
hesitant
during
for
the day. I'll be home.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe we could do that. but
I don't
just
want to stream during the day, but we could record. I don't know. It depends what you
just
want to do.
be hesitant for game 3 coverage. There might not be a pod the morning after. It might be delayed in the afternoon or something. We've got
Yeah,
stuff
I
that
got to
night,
go
so
to this thing Friday, and Jack's.
Just be wary of the coverage, but we appreciate you guys. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube. How about them Celtics? We are climbing the sub ladder, like Jack said. It's been a good playoffs for us. We appreciate the viewership. Our pods continue to do well each time. I believe we've been hovering around 200 at least for the last 4 or
We're
5.
getting up there. Yep.
Which is really, really good for us. So we appreciate that. Keep leaving comments. Keep liking the videos. It's awesome. On top of that, if you want to listen to us and not see us, I don't know why you would. Spotify, Apple, we're there. 5 stars, follow. You'll get all the pods. On top of that, How About Them C's at How About Them C's. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you can find us there. I think we're going to try and get these pods up on socials more. I need to get better at reminding Jack, and I'll share them to the Facebook, which you can find our pregame streams at. Just the name of the pod, and hopefully you'll find our pods there as well.
And let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll bring the shorts back. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, the shorts are good for growth. There's no doubt about that.
We got to do it. We don't have a lot of time. We're busy guys.
Yes, that is very true. You can follow Jack at Jack's1NBA. He's pumping out articles for Celtics blog. He's going to the games. He's live tweeting them and just ruining games for me because I'm on a delay.
I try.
And you can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA to see me be bipolar about this team. That's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe.